Hi everyone, it's Emily. I've been getting quite a few questions lately about fabrics. I'm referring to the actual identification of fabrics. It's so important, one of the most important courses that I took in fashion design school, so I wanted to do a lesson on it today. Understanding fabrics is so important in a design because it can be completely dependent upon that. Fabric is what allows you to structure a design. You can't create like a bodycon dress with a stiff woven fabric. You can't create a fluid skirt that you would use, charmeuse for with a duchess satin. That would not work. You can't create a structural taffeta ball gown with, a jersey knit. So that's why understanding and identifying fabrics is so important in fashion design. Let's start by defining fibers, which fibers are the building blocks of yarns, and yarns make up the fabric. There's two types of fibers. There's natural and synthetic fibers. Natural fibers come from nature. So there's two types of natural fibers. There's cellulose and protein. Cellulose comes from plants. Protein will come from an animal. So an example of a cellulose fiber would be cotton, flax, or hemp. Examples of protein fibers are silk or wool. Synthetic fibers are man-made. So they're either consisting of regenerated cellulose or regenerated protein, or chemicals or some sort of regenerated chemical fiber. Regenerated cellulose fibers are a product of cellulose. Examples include rayon, lyocell, or bamboo. Chemical fibers have a chemical composition, structure, and property that is significantly modified during the manufacturing process. Examples include polyester, acrylic, rayon. Regenerated chemical fibers, an example would be acetate. So in order to identify fiber content, that will take time in practice, but eventually you'll be able to just see a fabric and have kind of an idea of, at least if it's natural or synthetic, and have some idea of what the properties of that would be and what the exact, fiber content is. So when in doubt, you can always try a burn test. A burn test is when you light a small piece of the fabric on fire and you monitor how it burns. You see what the ash looks like, what the odor is, and you get an idea of what the fiber content is. In general, you'll know if a fabric has cellulose in it if it burns with a feathery ash and has sort of like a paper-like odor as it burns. So if a fabric contains protein, it'll likely produce a gray-black bead that's easily crushed. It'll smell like burning hair and it won't hold the flame. Chemical fibers will produce a black bead that is very hard to crush, and then it'll sort of melt as it's burning. So one of the first things to know when understanding fibers, yarns, and fabric is that the length of the fiber will determine how that yarn will affect the fabric and the appearance. There's two types of fiber lengths. There's staple and there's filament. Staple fibers are shorter and create spun yarns. They will always come from a natural source except for silk. Silk is a filament fiber. So filament fibers are long and will create a filament yarn. The only natural filament is silk. The others are all manufactured, and they're the strongest of the three types of yarns, which are spun, filament, or also there's several types of novelty yarn. So filament yarns create fabric with a very silky, smooth, cool feel. Spun yarns are going to create a warm, fuzzy, sort of doll feel in the fabric. So there's several types of novelty yarns. There's boucle that has little loops throughout it. There's tweed, which has little color flecks. There's eyelash, which has a fur-like appearance. We also have a slub yarn, which has bumps throughout it and will create bumps throughout the fabric. Crepe has a very pebbly appearance to it. So that's all I'd like to cover today. Stick around for the next lesson when that will be much more hands-on, much more fun. We'll talk about looking at actual fabrics. Comment below if you have any questions and I can address them in the next lesson. Subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.